Google YouTube whistleblower Zach Voorhees with us. How you doing, Zach?
It's good to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you for doing this show, man. Like I told you, I was so excited to have you on. This is something that's really, really important, and the mainstream media is just not covering this at all by design. So the fact that I reached out to you and you were willing to come on this show, it's just amazing, Zach. Thank you again for what you've done, and thank you for being here today.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here.
When I see Zach Voorhees giving up, I believe you said almost $260,000, you're giving up your livelihood to do this. So what you did, you must have really felt strong about now, no?
I mean, yeah, I felt so incredibly guilty. Like once I found out what Google was doing and how they were going to subvert the United States with their censorship, and they were lying about it. Like if Google's like, yeah, we're going to start censoring the internet, like, and we're honest about that, that would be one thing. But they weren't being honest. They were lying under oath to Congress people, and they were lying to their shareholders, and they were lying to the American people. And I saw this AI weapon being like rolled out to all of their different products, and it was really scary to me. And so I just started like watching Google. What the heck is going on? What the heck is going on? And you know what? For most of my time there, the company was really great. They were really great with sticking with their principles. It wasn't until 2016 that things started getting crazy.
Yeah. Well,
I discovered that Google was deleting words out of their dictionary in order to make Trump tweets sound crazy.
Yes.
And then the media was using that craziness as justification to try to invoke the 25th Amendment, Section 4, which can remove a sitting president due to mental incapacitation.
Yeah.
And so once I saw that whole operation go down, I was like, okay, this is beyond weirdo cultural stuff.
Yeah.
This is actually a national security issue. And regardless of what the consequences are, I have to come forward with this and expose it to the American public. Else I am a conspirator towards this like sedition.
Yeah.
So it was literally an act of sedition that made me decide that I need to do this no matter what the cost.
Were you the only one who understood that or knew that when it come to the kavefke? Is that you talk about the kavefke, right? Which means what does it mean? It means to carry on or something, or
it's an Arabic word meaning we will stand up.
Okay.
And Trump tweeted it right when he came back from Saudi Arabia, so it makes sense like what that means.
Yeah.
And Google wiped it off because they wanted to say that the tweet was nonsense.
Was this on the public internal network? That did other people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was actually one of the AI executives at Google had written up this document to get rid of the term. And the plausible deniability that they had within the document is that they didn't actually say, let's like delete the word, but they says, hey, let's replace it with the shrug icon. But they never replaced it with the shrug icon. They just deleted the word. So, yeah.
So they were trying their soft coup, it looks like, to make them look mentally unstable. They were also trying the Russiagate narrative and whatnot. So that's crazy. Are you scared, Zach, of the consequences that could come of you releasing these documents? I mean, I know you did the right thing, and I applaud you for doing it. I believe these, because I've looked through these documents, and, over the last couple of weeks, little by little, it's a lot of stuff, but I have looked through them, and I believe they're authentic. But are you scared of the consequences? I was almost afraid to ask you that today.
Yeah, I mean, whistleblowers tend not to live very long lives. I realized before I disclosed this that was going to be a risk factor for me, and that risk is still very high for me, which is the reason why I'm coming out to all of these radio stations and all of these video bloggers, is because I need to get my profile up so that they can't assassinate me. As far as how I feel about that, I came to terms with the possibility of dying for what I believe in 2018. I was at a festival and I just couldn't have fun, like no matter what. Everyone else was having a great time, but I just could not snap out of it. And something happened during the eclipse, the full eclipse, when I was standing in the shadow of the moon. And everything just clicked, and I was like, "Hey, it doesn't matter. Everything's going to be all right." And even if they do kill you, when I answer to my maker, and he looks at me and says, "Hey, you saw evil what did you do about it? I can say, well, I sacrificed everything to let the American public know that there was this AI censorship weapon pointed at them. And my conscience would be clear, even if I were to die. I know that no matter what, if there's no God, then I don't care anymore because I don't exist. And if there is a God, then I know that I'm going to be that I had done the right thing. There is the search suggestion result. And this is really nefarious. So what happens is that if you go to Google search and you type in a search query, it's going to give you predictions that are based upon what Google says is what other people are searching for. So, go to Google search right now and you can type in men can, right? And it'll autocomplete and it'll say like men can have babies now, men can have periods, right? And if women type it in, it'll be like women can do it, women can vote, women can be drafted. And, Google says that they populate this based on the whole aggregate amount of searches that are going through its search engine. But I've been able to prove that this is not true because I can get access to all of that search information through trends.google.com and cross-reference that. Okay. Now, it's not just men having babies that's the problem. It's that you look at all the political stuff, like any political thing that's going on right now, they're poisoning the search results for all of these things. Mm-hmm. So the search predictions are wrong, but then what also happens is that the search results are getting hijacked by the mainstream media manipulation. Wow. So they're doing negative SEO attacks. So, for example, I was trying to find information on something that Trump had done to stop human sex trafficking across the border. Yeah. Well, because of the authoritativeness that Google was emphasizing on these corrupt mainstream media outlets, instead I was getting redirected to all these things about kids in cages and everything like that.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. They're trying to control the narrative. They're trying to, what I'm saying? Because that's where I think a lot of, especially with Democrats inside their own bubble, they don't understand that. And me being a person that says when it comes to Epstein, that I think that Trump has been pretty decent on that. I think Trump has done the right thing, and I've done a lot of research on that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a Trump loyalist or a Trump fan. I happen to think that Trump stinks on foreign policy. But the fact is that they're also censoring a lot of the Epstein stuff just because Trump might have a positive influence on the case when he directed the lawyers the right way. What's another practice other than that?
It's the YouTube search queries are really poisoned at this point.
YouTube?
Yeah, they've been banning people that, and both on the left and the right, they've been banning people that disagree with the establishment narrative, and what they've been doing, which is really insidious, is they've been dropping the search traffic for all of these video sites. And the way that they do this is that a lot of times the recommendation engine will say, well, if you like A, then you're going to like B, right? And so what they've been doing is that they've been trying to redirect everyone so that they go towards MSNBC, CNN, and Fox.
Yes.
And they just try to keep you on this carousel of establishment news propaganda, and you have to physically stop it, go somewhere else, and search for this content. Now, the content that you used to be able to find really easily on the first page of YouTube search has been now buried. Okay, you can't find it anymore.
I agree.
What you have to do is you have to go to the 5th page in order to see this. And whatever they say about QAnon dropped the whole Epstein thing in 2017. Okay. 2 years ahead of the whole news cycle. And everything that QAnon was talking about in relation to this conspiracy to frame Trump, we all knew about it over a year ahead of the whole rest of the news cycle. So how did QAnon have such great insider intel that all came true? Because it wasn't just like a couple things. It's not like Nostradamus where, most of it doesn't stick, but some of it sticks. No, QAnon was releasing intel consistently with a narrative of what had taken place and what the anti-Trump coup was, and it all came true. Yeah. There has been some disinfo. QAnon has mentioned that there was going to be disinfo, and the community was like, okay, we understand that there's disinfo, and the reason why there's disinfo is that QAnon says, oh, this is coming. The deep state reacts, thinking that's going to happen, and then it's actually they've got a plan. They've got the real plan, which goes into effect. Yeah. So I understand what QAnon is. It's an intel dump. Right now it's down because 8chan is down. Now, one of the supporters of QAnon released a video, and it was really popular. It was like 10% of the views converted into a like. Well, Google went and wiped out 90% of the likes.
How do you have proof of that?
Because I was there when the video got released. I was literally at my desk when the video got released, and I was like, wow, this is really good. Oh my God, this has got, because I'm a metrics guy, I like marketing. So whenever I see a high engagement rate, like it gets me really excited. So I was like, wow, this video is getting 10%. And then the likes kept on going up. And then like the next day, the content creator went out to Twitter and said, Google just wiped out 90% of the likes. And I went, what? And I looked in and I was like, yeah, the likes went down. They just dropped through the floor. And now it's a 1%. So 1%.
How is that legal? How is that legal? I mean, that's screwing with somebody's livelihood, a business's livelihood, by, you know, defaming their product unjustly. I mean, how is that legal? Because they're a private company?
They're a private company, and they claim that they can do what they want, and they claim that they can lie to the American public. And so they're not beholden to anything because they don't have any contract that states that they can't do it. And there's no law that says that they can't do it. So they just do it. But they lie about it because they don't want us to know that it's doing it because it's a PR disaster. So yeah, I posted that because, you know, somebody else did an interview and YouTube stopped their likes for 5 hours.
That's
right?
ridiculous.
No, sorry, not their likes, their view counts. They stopped the view counts.
Okay, even worse.
Yeah.
Even worse.